All right, hello everyone. This is Daytraderrockstar, and I want to do a little educational video on how to trade a downward channel setup here. Now, a downward channel basically is a chart pattern that I look for. Again, as the name suggests, it's a downward moving pattern, and so I will always look for that to trade that to the upside on a breakout on the upside. So we're going to start off showing what the different characteristics and what I look at for. Basically, it's a visual scan that I do right off, start things off, and you just look for that that channel starting. The channel is going to be pretty much two parallel lines, equal distance apart, and just making that very easy to identify channel here. Market pushes up to it, comes down to it a few times, really establishing those ranges, and then continues to trade down into that range. As it changes, you want to see this thing develop. You want to test these trend lines at least 2 times, at least 3 times. I usually watch for this thing to develop after 3 times. Once it actually tests and establishes these trend lines after 3 tests, then I really start to notice these patterns and watch behind. And there we go. Every Sunday night, the 10 for 1,000 watch list. And when I notice this one, let's just scroll over here a bit. There we go. Sorry about that. And you can see the pattern starting to form here. And after 3 times, start watching it, and you see the pattern here pushing back up here again. Now the pattern's starting to get into an area where I start to look for some other type of indicators. Now, what I use with the falling wedge patterns, I use the stochastics and sometimes support levels, but mainly the stochastics. So I want to see stochastics line up every time we hit this downward portion of the channel. So as we continue on with this one, you see the stochastics up here. These are the full stochastics, and that's a very good indicator to use. That's one of my main indicators I use. And I have a lot of notes on this, a lot of notes on this chart because these come from my previous trades, and I just keep notes on it. So just to make, so you can see the stochastics here pulling back into an overbought level here, and actually the market pulling back here down to the lower part of this trend line. So you can really see this pattern developing. And again, it comes down, and now it's a very developed pattern. So you're definitely going to start watching this one for a break to the upside. So you start timing this one. And what you do in a channel trade, this is the important part, you very rarely see just an explosion from the bottom of the channel to the top of the channel. This is the key area of entry, because that's, I mean, you could get in here thinking you're going to break out of the channel and end up going down lower. I mean, it would be good to get down here and take it and riding it up here and take profit, but if you want to really trade a break out of the channel, you want to watch for that break. You want to see that retracement off the top channel line here. You want to see that retracement come back 50% into the channel, 50% the most. In some cases, it'll pull back to the 38% Fibonacci. In some cases, it'll just pull back to the 20-period moving average. But I, as a general rule, want to see the strength stay above the 50% line on the channel. So I want to make this, I'm just going to extend this out here before we get to the end of the pattern. Just extend this out here. Let's make it a little darker here. That way you can see it a little bit better here. All right, so I just want to watch that bisecting line. So we continue there, and now right here, I noticed that we held that 20-period moving average. We held above the bisecting line here. And this is where I'm noticing strength in it. So at this point, I probably want to scale in and take my position in this one as it's holding here. And you could see right here. But the important thing is always watch for that 20-period moving average to hold. And all these other cases, the stochastics, got oversold. We pulled right through the 20-period moving average. In this case here, we held and we showed strength here and started consolidating. And as we started consolidating, we also could see the 20-period moving average moving up here and getting ready to cross the 50, which is a great indication. So when you see that 20-50 crossover, that's combined with this pattern. This is just a 1-2-3, a 1-2 punch here for a push to the upside. So you get in your position, you watch that 20-period moving average, and then you watch for the breakout there, and you can just see the breakout. Now what I do is when I get into a channel trade like this, you want to try to figure out where you want to take your trade to. So a channel trade, you have what's called a measured move profit projection. And a measured move is just taking the width of the channel and extending it from the breakout. So I just take that green line here. I just made a width of the green line, and I extended it to where the channel was broken out upwards. And that would probably give me a target around $29, a little above $29, which I had here as my target. Buy trigger was $21.40, and the target was $29. So we got that, and we're just going to follow this trade out and just see how this thing played out. And you can see we came right up to the 29.71 area pretty much, and it kind of spiked over $30 one day, but we closed under it. So this was pretty much a hit target right here, and you can see actually starting to show a little weakness here. So stochastics are starting to cross over, and this wouldn't be a bad one to watch for a little pullback here. But anyway, a very successful channel trade here. And just to give you another example of a couple other channel trades fast. That was SLV was a silver trade that I'm currently in right now. And you can see the channel trade that's formed here. You can notice the channel. You notice that there was some support here at 1148, which we came down and corresponded again with the downward trend line. And also the stochastics corresponded with the the lower half of this trend line here. So you have there the stochastics, you have the trend line, and you have some support here. So these are just good trading vehicles to trade in on the lower end of the channel up to the other end. And again, if we put in the 50% retracement here, once you see that 50% retracement hold, that's when you want to take notice of the stock that a breakout's imminent. And right here we held that 50% retracement and we broke out. Again, this trade is active right here, and I'm continuing to hold this one. I have a profit projection of $14. We made up to $13.80, and just another good trade. Now, one last thing I want to show you. There's a couple stocks that are actually setting up, so I want to actually put give you a couple updates on some trades I'll be looking for this week. All right, a couple other trades here. Now, NDAQ. Here we go with a nice, and this is a very similar pattern to a downward channel as a downward wedge pattern. But if we look at this one a little closer, you can see just, very similar setup here. I mean, you could go either way on this. You could look at it really long term here and see this long channel starting to form with the downward slope to it. So it's more of a channel, but a combination of a channel and a wedge pattern as it's. But I would trade this as a channel, and I'm watching this position here because, again, we really established this downward channel here. It's slowly constricting, and this could work as a downward wedge pattern too. It's another bullish pattern I look for. So the wedge patterns and channel patterns are very bullish patterns that I announce each day on the radio. Again, I'm watching for that strength to hold on that midsection line or the 20-period moving average moving up towards that 50. So this one is coming into play right now. We held on Friday the 20-period moving average, and the stochastics are up here a little overbought, but they're starting to flatten out here. So, but the volume here is increasing, and it looks very interesting here at this level. So I'm going to look at this one, continue taking a bigger position here if we show any strength next week on Monday. And again, we're seeing that 20 period moving average move up to the 50. We could get that crossover, which is give us some spike, give us some buying